Let's welcome to the show for the first time. He is a former perfect game pitcher. He is among the baseball elite. He is a former New York Yankee, Toronto Blue Jay, and a bunch of other teams that don't really matter that much. Let's welcome David Wells to the program. Boomer, how are you, buddy?
Good, Cowhead. How are you?
Would you ever swap wives with me? You know my wife. I know your wife. And we've both been married long enough where it's really nobody cares anymore. Would that ever be a problem?
Sure, why not?
See,
at what point do you stop caring? What's that milestone?
I want to say 8 years, but it's really like 3.
David, do you agree?
No.
Yeah.
David, can I just please? You would be okay with looking over and seeing?
No. Why do you insist on being there?
Yeah, relax on that.
No, but
no, I wouldn't.
Imagine seeing Mike.
Disturbing.
Yeah. See, that's the visual I can't get out of my head.
She's used to having a large man panting above her. She wouldn't even know the difference.
Ooh.
You're probably right there. You're probably right.
Let's talk about large men, but actually talk about sports and baseball. Michael Pineda
Segue. That's called a
got
segue.
kicked out of tonight's game for having pine tar on his neck. Now, this isn't the first time it's happened, even this year. I mean, we saw it last year with Buchholz as well. And he really just kind of put it all out there and wasn't hiding it or anything. What's your take on this? Should it just be allowed? I know it's breaking a rule, but what do you think?
Well, I mean, as a pitcher, I wouldn't see why, because it was cold and windy in Fenway, and I know being in that type of elements, you don't have any feel for the ball. The ball is slick. So why would a hitter be able to use pine tar on a bat, but a pitcher can't get a grip on the ball? So I've always been, in favor of having something to give you better friction on the ball, so at least you can hold it and it doesn't slip out of your hand. Because basically everything's for the hitters anyways. I look at it that they always bitch and complain about, if there's a little scuff in the ball or something like that, but they get to use the pine tar. It's going to go back and forth. It's been like that for years, but you know what? That's just the way the rules are. He got caught. I mean, you look at Kenny Rogers a few years ago when he had it on his hand, and, nothing was said. It was brought up, but nothing was done.
Do you have a problem with how obvious he's being? Does he kind of ruin it for everybody in doing that?
No, you ain't cheating. You ain't trying. I mean,
okay.
you look at it in that sense, but I mean, you see that, it was obviously, I saw it tonight, and I'm like, dang. But I guess, having dark skin, and that was a little darker than him, and it showed out like it was like a sore thumb. So I mean, you can see it unbelievably good. But he wasn't hiding it. There's other places that you could probably hide it.
How many other pitchers are doing it? How common is that? Is he the one that just got caught, or is everybody doing it?
No, I'm sure there's a lot of guys that done it, but there's so many different areas that you could put it on and all that. But you just got to be discreet and stuff like that. But I just really, I don't see the big difference. I mean, if it's something just to get a little friction on the ball so you can get a feel for it where it's not as slick, get a little sticky substance, it's not going to make the ball move.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Perry, he used Vaseline. Guys use spit. You can use
sunscreen.
Spit. You can use your sweat and make the ball sink unbelievable.
And what is the effect? Is it just a grasping effect with the pine tar?
All it is he gets a better grip for his curveball.
And that's it? No, it doesn't have anything on the spin of the ball like the other stuff?
No.
What is the best stuff for that?
What?
If you're going to put a little substance on a ball, what gives it the best spin?
Well, they give us rosin, and you have rosin. But if you do the rosin, that comes off, because when especially if it's cold and windy, it just dries up on you, and that is a little moist. Pine tar stays a little moist constantly, so you're going to get that friction. But pine tar is used for us to have it. But unless you just really spit in your hands or you blow in your hands. What you're able to do is blow in your hand when it's cold. It's the discretion of the umpire.
Well, you guys are constantly licking your fingertips. That's okay?
I mean, the rule is a foreign substance on a ball is against regulation. So spit should be.
Foreign substance, but you have to wipe it off. If you spit on your hand, whatever, you got to wipe it off. Or if you lick your fingers, you got to wipe it off. But you can lick your fingers and just pretend like you're wiping it off. They can't. What are they gonna do? A preview of that? Are they going to they're going to challenge that. He didn't wipe his hand correctly, so
go feel it.
Throw him out of the game. It's stupid. Be honest with you, it's stupid.
You're a guy who had no problem talking about some of the things that you did on and off the field while you were playing. Now that you're not playing, can you tell me? Is there a time where you, maybe in the beginning of your career in a tough game, where you might have went for something a little?
I did put some pine tar when it was really cold, but I just put it in my glove. I just had it right there, and I just to get a little bit. I didn't goo it on. I never gooed it on to where it was, it would stain the ball or anything. It was just for friction. I did that a long time ago earlier in my career. When they told me, some guys would say, "Hey, listen, when it's cold like that, it's going to help you out." I mean, I didn't know better. I just tried it, and it worked. But for the most part. But other than that, I never did it really. I just used the pine tar, and I would put you could put baby oil on your wrist a little bit, and then put the pine tar or the rosin, and then you could just bat your wrist around there, and then sometimes that'll give you some friction because that'll turn into. It'll get sticky.
So basically, it's like that scene in Major League where if all else fails, a little cayenne pepper in your nostril, get a little snot ball out there
on the ball.
Yeah, something like that. But it's
well done.
But it's kind of stupid for Michael to do that anyways because he's missed the last 2 years. He's finally healthy. He comes back and then he does a stunt like this. And I text Cash and I'm like, dude, you got to teach him how to cheat better.
I'm sure at the end of the day, nothing made Brian Cashman feel better than getting a text from David Wells telling him to teach him how to cheat better.
No, it probably pissed him off more because I know he's pissed off. I'd be pissed off too, but here's a guy you lose Von Nova, and then all of a sudden, you got Michael Pineda who had really good spring training, and then all of a sudden he does this, and now he's probably going to get suspended for. Who knows? Probably 6-7 games, maybe.
Who are the biggest cheaters? Who are the biggest cheaters that were playing?
All steroid guys.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid seeing that footage where Phil Necro tried to throw the Emery board. Yeah, I mean that was absolute best. He threw it on the ground to the right of where he was standing, like nobody was going to see it.
Well, you look at it this. You see, Gaylord Perry. He always did the Vaseline or something like that. Nolan Ryan would nick the ball somehow. Either he didn't do it or the catcher would do it or something like that, or somebody would do it. He'd get a ball and there'd always be a nick. Because I remember Jimmy Williams, early in my career when I was in Toronto, he would always get the ball at home. He'd get the balls and they would always be scuffed in the same spot.
Yeah.
So
somebody knew the mark.
He was never caught, but you just see him and Jimmy would go nuts. But, it's just to get a little movement on the ball and whatever. But like I said, you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. You got to try some. If you can get an edge somehow, some way, without getting caught, do it.
Yeah. We're talking to David Wells, who was a great pitcher and now coaching. What are you coaching? High school?
High school.
Your high school?
Yeah, we sucked today, man. We had a 4-9 lead and lost 7-4.
I have to tell you, I've known you for a long time, and I've not seen you, besides regular baseball, seen you as dedicated to something as you've been to this team. You were really into this.
Dude, I'm bored, man. I got up at 5 o'clock this morning. I went out fishing. Me and a buddy of mine, we went out fishing, halibut fishing, and so we were out till about noon. And then I came in, washed the boat down, and went to my game.
David Wells is an avid hunter as well as a fisherman. Did you see the story out of Florida about the guys who caught the 850-pound mako shark?
Yeah, no, I didn't, but I can see them that big. It's funny. I just watched Jaws last night, and I haven't seen it in years, but when you see fish that big, it's like sharks that big.
They land
as big as Jaws. Yeah, that's scary stuff.
They land caught a 850-pound mako, breaking the record by almost 100 pounds. Brought him in on land, and then they will no longer get recognition. Do you want to take a guess why they've been disqualified as a record holder?
Why?
Because they ate the shark. They brought it in.
So it's really good eating.
Yeah, it is. It really?
Have you ever eaten it?
No, I would.
It's good.
You've eaten mako shark.
It's real good to eat.
What's the other the weirdest thing you've eaten? This is a guy who's hunted in Africa. What's the weirdest thing you've eaten?
The weirdest?
Yeah.
I mean, snakes, frogs, squirrels. I mean,
robin egg malted candy.
It's weird to some people. It's not weird to me. But like a rattlesnake, people.
Well, I
don't
expect you to say like hippopotamus or something, and you're pulling like insects out.
You can't eat a hippopotamus.
No, I ain't eat something like that. No.
I don't know.
I mean, I've eaten bear. Bears were actually, black bears are really good.
I thought you couldn't eat bear because they hibernate and they poop.
No. Grizzly bears you don't want to eat. They're really greasy.
Have you shot a bear?
Grizzly bears are greasy?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
The more you know. What?
What does that mean? They're greasy. They're like the meat is.
Unless you're native and they like that, like Eskimos. I mean, they eat whale blubber and stuff like that. So
I'm trying to segue this back to baseball, and it is nearly impossible with grizzlies are greasy and blubber of bears.
Hunting is a sport.
No, black bear is really good eating. I've eaten that, and that was really good.
What's the biggest thing you've ever taken down?
Lion.
With a bow and arrow or a gun?
No,
I
did that with a gun. I wanted to do it with a bow and arrow, but
In lieu of a mini
they
slugger?
told me they didn't. They said it'd be better off with a gun. But if I ever go back to Africa and get another chance to shoot a lion, I'll do it with my bow.
Is there anybody in this room that would do that?
I shot in grizzlies, Cape Buffalo, all that stuff.
I am such a wuss. There's no way in the world I would chance shooting a lion just because of the chance that the lion might get to me first.
There's always that great video of the guy.
It is gnarly when you get up on a lion. It is. Your hair stands
How far
up
are you away?
I don't know. I was probably like 60, 70 yards. And then, like my leopard, I shot a leopard, and that was about 25 yards. That one.
Was it coming at you?
No, it was just right there. We baited the tree, and you know how they do in Africa, however their thing is. I could have shot it with a bow. I wanted to, but
you should have got it with a spear. If you're in Africa, do it the right way. Wear like a diaper and a spear and go out there and do it like the natives.
The best way to do it. Now that's hunting right there.
We'd like to do it with you. Body paint, diapers, and spears, and we'll go out there and take down a hippo.
Hell no, just go bare naked and do it.
We're talking to David Wells.
Wind, buddy. Flap in the wind.
Listen to this guy.
I wouldn't really flap.
You wouldn't even break the wind.
No.
Let me ask you what will happen in the future for you if you could design it? Would you rather get back into doing TV stuff, play-by-play? Would you do a sports talk show, or would you ever see yourself sitting on the bench and doing coaching, pitching coaching?
I would love to coach. I've been trying to get here for 4 years. They won't let me in.
Why? Why do you think that hasn't happened? You're a guy who's had a lot of success in the game. You certainly have a lot of years.
Well, the game has changed. The game's changed, God. It's crazy. It's like, I don't know. They don't want an opinion, I guess. I don't know.
Politics keeps you out because you're a guy who's always spoken his mind.
Politics. I wouldn't say it's that. It's really tough to get in. I mean, I think it's a buddy-buddy system and all that. But, what I do with the Yankees is great. I love Brian Cashman brings me into spring training for the whole spring. I get to see all the pitchers, the players, and, I enjoy it. I like being around there. Larry Rothschild, watching him do what he does. He does a great job. And, watch Robbie Thompson, the third base coach, and what he does. That guy's there like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
I mean, busting his hump to get things right, the scheduling going on every day and making sure everything's right. And, the coaches do unbelievable work for the Yankees. I mean, I'm sure they do it all around the league, but, being with the Yankees, it's pretty special because they're first class. I mean, they're top notch.
When I first really saw more than just you pitching was when you were traded to the Yankees, and CNN did a piece on you. And I remember I was kind of half watching out of the corner of my eye, and they said to you, they talked about the gout, and they said, what was the quote? They said, when the beer gets to be too much with the gout, then what do you do? And you said something
vodka.
Switch to vodka. And I thought, well, that's a great guy, and that's a guy who's great to have on the team. Now that you've done that, and you've come here, and you've achieved baseball immortality with a perfect game, you will have a spot. For that, at least in the Hall of Fame, and you've had this long career. But the idea that these New York fans love you, I see you at spring training, I see the way they react to you. I remember, being around the town with you. That has to be, out of all you've done, that has to be your dream come true with you being such a fan of the team when you were younger.
Well, I was a Yankee fan growing up in San Diego. I mean, I was Padres and Yankees, both leagues. But, just to have your dream come true to play for your favorite teams. But, the 4 years I spent with New York was just incredible. I mean, being in New York, I feel like I'm a New Yorker. I mean, I was embraced, and, you know, and the people there, I love going there. I mean, I spend a lot of time in New York, and the people treat me great. And, you know, just being around the ballpark there, just, you know, it's you know, it's nice to be, you know, liked, wanted in a place where, you know, they respect you as much as I respect them.
And I think in addition to your playing, especially with a city like this, they love the fact that you are not afraid to speak your mind, which, like you said, it's very rare, and it's like, you know, the game changed, but you'll still be the guy that'll go out there and give your opinion.
Why not? I mean, I think everybody should. I don't think anybody should take some of the crap that's, you know, dished out to them. But to me, it's like, you know what? You have an opinion. You have, you know, if they're gonna treat you like crap, you know what? Say something about it. Just don't sit there and take it.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people take it with a grain of salt, but they don't do anything about it. I mean, stand your ground.
Who gave you the most crap while you played?
The most crap that when I played, I mean, probably Pat Gillick. He was the GM for the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
And I think he does whatever. He's just elected to the Hall of Fame. But that guy really treated me like a piece of crap. And, you know, that to me, I resented. And that's kind of where I became kind of hot-headed and spoke my mind a lot, is because, you know, the way they treated me, they would weigh me in every day. They'd fine me every day. You know, it just treated me like a puppet. I didn't like it. And, you know, the guy just, you know, the way they released me in '93 was just, it was stupid. It was unbelievable how the way they did it. So I have no respect for that man whatsoever. I mean, if there's anybody I don't like in the game of baseball, it's probably him tenfold.
Good.
Guy a lot of people like is Derek Jeter. You know, we're talking New York. He's on his farewell tour, and, you know, he likes to give gift baskets. He's getting his gift baskets from every club around the league. What would you put in his gift basket?
Jeez. I don't know. Me?
You'd put yourself in it, wrap yourself up in a bow?
Then I would go hang out with them.
All right.
That would be no, I've hung out with them. I don't know. What can you give a guy that has everything?
It's a good question.
You know, that to me is something. I think Derek would be, you know, I mean, there's nothing really you can give. Just, you know, a card. So just send, hey, thanks for, you know, what you did for the game. Thanks for saving my butt many a times, you know, at shortstop, going in the hole and throwing guys out. You know, it would just, that would be something that I would probably put in his gift basket, because, you know what? Just to say, hey, man, you did it your way, you did it with respect, and, you know, and he kept it clean, and that to me, that speaks volume.
Good. I tell you, I'd love to see you on the bench somewhere. I look back at great Yankee managers, and I of course, Billy Martin and Lou Piniella, and I see those guys with those tempers, which is what the fans love to watch, and I'd love to see a guy, even if you're sitting there on the bench as a bench coach, I'd love to have you in there. I think a team would really benefit from that. This is David Wells. He is calling us from San Diego. Dude, it's always good to talk to you. I appreciate the late-night call.
Anytime, man. At least you showed up. You didn't give any excuse that you were sick and all. You manned up. You grew a big old sack, and you went and sat down on behalf of Artie, and, you know, I wish him well. I heard about that, and it's, you know.
He'll be back. He'll be back on Friday.
Yes, yeah, he's a good man. Love him to death.
Well, thank you for bringing my sack up, and it's always good to talk to you.
No, your sack is there.
Oh, boy.
You just lost Kay again.
Dave, let me ask you. I have time to ask one more question? Let me ask you a quick question. I ask this to all the baseball players. If you can time travel, no, this might be too much. It's an interdimensional masturbation question, and I just think it'll be too much to handle in a short amount of time. Well, I'll get to you next time. We'll ask you. Good talking to you.
That's BS, man. Finish it. Let's go.
No, I'm saying it's too long to go into.
Quitter?
Just,
you know, if time travel, I'll go back to the 20s and hang out with Babe Ruth.
All right, that's a good enough whole answer right there. All right, Dave, take it easy. Thanks, buddy.
Enjoy.
Take it easy. Guy. There you go. I just knew that if I had to explain the scenario to him, it would take too long.
I'm kind of glad you didn't. Not gonna lie.
You might enjoy it.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.